So this is A2 media, section B, new media, or rather the full title being the impact of new media. And the past paper question I did was, does your case study suggest that new and digital media have had a positive impact by offering audiences a more diverse range of values and ideologies? And that's worth 48 marks. It is very debatable and somewhat depends on an individual's opinion as to whether or not Instagram has had a positive effect by offering audiences a more diverse range of values and ideologies. Advocates of Instagram will argue that it brings people closer together as they exchange ideas and information. Detractors, enemies of Instagram, say that it promotes airheaded narcissism and offers little in the way of cerebral worth. In other words, it rots our brains. Whatever one's opinion, there is little argument about the interesting debate that has ensued since Instagram went mainstream. As of 2013, Instagram has over 150 million active users, which suggests that this particular form of new technology is having a particularly positive effect when it comes to offering audiences a range of values and ideologies, just given the sheer amount of people using it. There will be some that may argue, however, that the particular range of values and ideologies still stems from our collective sense of narcissism and little else. However, one could also argue that while someone taking a selfie by, say, the Eiffel Tower isn't necessarily interested in the historical importance of said national monument, but rather are only interested in it because, by proximity, they seem important because they are standing next to it, they are still participating in the documentation of that very famous national monument over time. What if one day the historical monument that someone took their photo near was destroyed? Although there may be many photos of that monument, because that particular Instagram was taken at that moment, in that day, month and year. It has now gained an importance it may or may not deserve because it has caught, however fleetingly, a dying second in that monument's last moments of existence. If Instagram was around in 1989, imagine how many young people would have Instagrammed themselves bringing down the Berlin Wall. In 1989, bona fide media institutions such as the BBC, ITV, etc. documented key moments of the fall of the Berlin Wall. But what if someone had been there to document the blow-by-blow of the moments where youngsters arrived at the wall and were talked to and Instagrammed about their excitement whilst being uploaded? In 1989, only quite rich people could afford a video camera. Few people had mobile phones. Even those that did found that then primitive technology unable to do anything other than make a phone call, if they were lucky. With the advent of this new media technology, we now get to see everything from the point of view of the everyday person as and when they see it, document it on their phone, and then upload it to Instagram. However, Instagram can only upload 15 seconds at a time, which severely limits the ideas raised above regarding the documentation of history. This unfortunate fact gives extra weight to the detractors, the enemies of Instagram, in that it cannot possibly offer much in terms of substance, given the limited duration of footage that can be uploaded. You could hardly even read the Gettysburg Address in the time that they give you on this platform. However, Instagram supporters say that the whole point is entertainment and not education. Why not upload to YouTube or even Facebook if you're looking to educate, they say. However, Instagram has had a lot of controversy over its terms and conditions recently. Instagram announced some changes to its privacy policy that had users concerned it would be selling their photographs, even though some of the changes were actual improvements. The company backtracked, setting the stage for future tweaks. That's tweaks, T-W-E-A-K-S, not T-W-E-E-T-S. The future tweaks, but arguably leaving users worse off in the meantime. This in itself suggests that perhaps the question is not whether or not Instagram offers audiences a wide range of ideologies, but rather whether it actually exploits this range of values and ideologies in favour of one type of value and ideology. money and capitalism. Instagram's controversy-ridden New Terms of Service (TOS) and privacy policy went into effect in January 2013, but without the language that set off a frenzy of hysteria among users and the media in December. Originally, Instagram planned to include a new advertising section which actually would have benefited users by outlining how the company could display user photos, but widely reported misconceptions led to many to heap criticism on the photo sharing platform. So one could argue that, like YouTube, the company was merely offering to monetize people's photos, i.e. make profit from them, to them, and themselves. So in other words, that means basically Instagram was making money, but it was actually also willing to give some of that money to the people who was producing the photos. So not entirely exploitative, just throwing a few bones to the person who made the media. But in this day and age, where even governments accidentally lose sensitive information, who can we trust? Be that as it may, it would seem that Instagram does, on a literal level, have positive ideologies in terms of intent. That is to say that it was invented for positive reasons, namely an easy, practical solution to the storage and distribution of our digital photos. It could be argued that, certainly amongst the young, people no longer make physical copies of their photos and just use and share digital copies of those photos. Most people use Facebook to store most of their photos, however, and just use Instagram to show off a best-of compilation with people. So why do people not just use Facebook? The reason is that young people like sharing now. They can immediately publish a photo to share on Instagram for their followers to enjoy, and there and then. With Facebook, there is a lot more competition to get people to see your photos. Also, it takes a little bit longer to upload to Facebook. Is the immediacy, as in like you can have it here and now, and purpose of Instagram contributing to the values and ideologies positively? Yes, it is. It is promoting the sharing of our lives in as quick a manner as possible. Although, as I argued earlier, there seems to be some elements of narcissism at play. However, it's still relatively harmless. Or is it? Instagram were hit with another scandal when the BBC investigated them regarding the role of Instagram in sales of illicit drugs. The BBC discovered that users, mostly located in the US, were posting images of drugs they were selling, then completing transactions via instant messaging applications such as WhatsApp Messenger. Corresponding hashtags have been blocked as part of the company's response, and a spokesperson engaged with the BBC saying, quote, "Instagram has a clear set of rules about what is and isn't allowed on the site. We encourage people who come across illegal or inappropriate content to report it to us using the built-in reporting tools next to every photo, video or comment so we can take action. People can't buy things on Instagram. We are simply a place where people share photos and videos." Unquote. There is an element of absurdity to this scandal, however, because the very freedom that Instagram offers in terms of communication is what makes it attractive, especially to young people. If it was any other way, it'd be like your mum listening into your phone call when at home before mobile phones were invented. Blaming Instagram for people using it to sell drugs would be like blaming BT for people using phones for the same purpose. People will always abuse technology, as people can and will abuse anything for their own purposes. It's human nature. What is interesting here, though, is that the rules of Instagram, or quote, community guidelines, unquote, as they call them, are the values and ideologies, at least from the company's point of view. Instagram's values and ideologies can be boiled down thus. They are: share any photos and videos you've taken or have the right to share. Post photos and videos that are appropriate for a diverse audience. Foster meaningful and genuine interactions. Follow the law. Respect other members of the Instagram community. Maintain our supportive environment by not glorifying self-injury. Finally, 7. Be thoughtful when posting newsworthy events. Unquote. These are very interesting, and since the second rule itself promotes the idea of a diverse audience, it very explicitly illustrates Instagram's promotion of diverse ideologies, or at least the rules certainly would allow us to believe that Instagram is a proper big upper of diverse ideologies. It bigs it up big time. However, rule 5 would mean if your idea of diversity includes being anti a group of people, i.e. Americans, Muslims, Jews, etc., then you would find yourself breaking a rule and leaving yourself liable to action from Instagram. I think we can agree this is probably a good thing, as it promotes diversity and freedom of expression with a sense that we should all be responsible for our own actions. Not just on Instagram, but in life itself. All in all, the values and ideologies of both Instagram and its users, while narcissistic at times, are basically positive and promote togetherness and sharing. In conclusion, Instagram certainly has had an impact on promoting a diverse range of values and ideologies. People use it to do an array of things, from informing people to entertaining people, and everything in between. And that's 48 marks. Boom, full marks. Michael Jordan. Swish, back of the net.